Well, Raptor fans, a crucial non-call, a crucial turnover, and a vintage MELO performance take down the Raptors as they lose to the TrailBlazers 101-99. This is the Airborne Podcast. I'm your host, Ajith. And guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm very angry right now, but I'm going to try and stay composed to get through this podcast and break down what went down. Honestly, from start to finish, that game felt like there was no way Portland was going to come back. It didn't feel like it was out of hand at any point. It did feel like we were leaking oil at the end of that fourth quarter because Melo and Damian Lillard were hitting shots at clutch moments. And they didn't have the lead for more than 17 to 18 seconds the whole game. But those last few possessions, starting off with that illegal screen that Whiteside hit Rondae Hollis-Jefferson with, that eventually, translated into a Damian Lillard 3. And then, we call the timeout. And then we go down to the other side. There's like a scramble for the ball. They go review it. It's Raptors ball. And then Patrick McCaw turns the ball over with a bounce pass to Kyle Lowry. And then they come back. OG doubles Lillard with Patrick McCaw, which gives Melo an opening to inbound the ball and get the ball back. And then OG tries to recover, but Melo already has his first step on him. So he just, stops, pulls up, takes his mid-range game that he's been known for years. It's going to be one of his like, how do you say it? It's one of his signature moves. And he was able to, hit the shot and put them up by 2. And the Raptors come back off a timeout. Lowry gets a shot. Looked like it was going to go in, but it was a miss. What I don't understand about that last offensive play that we drew up was why did they bring back all the non-shooters? Patrick McCaw did not have a good offensive night. He was not aggressive at all. He was passive the whole night. Rondae can't shoot a 3 for his life when he's open. Why would you bring him back on the offensive end when there's 3 seconds left in the game? Like, you're not going to get an offensive board. You're not going to. So why not try to bring Matt Thomas in to try and get more space for Lowry to get an open shot? Because that might scramble the defense. Because the only good shooters we had out there in that possession was Lowry. Serge Ibaka, I'll say he was good tonight because he was hitting threes throughout the whole night. OG hit a couple threes tonight, so I can understand why he was out there. But Matt Thomas has to be out there. Matt Thomas and maybe, who else is there? And Chris Boucher. Someone else, please. I don't understand what they were doing. It is what it is. We can throw this away and we can think about tomorrow night because we do have a game against Charlotte. And we're 3-5 in our last 8 games, which is not a good thing. And this is a game we should have won, but we didn't. And we played the Portland TrailBlazers November 13th. And that day when we played them versus tonight, we had a completely different roster. I mean, not roster, but a starting lineup. I'm going to tell you exactly who was in our lineup that night and who was in our lineup today. Oh, man. You guys are going to get... It's really mind-blowing, the fact that we didn't have a single person from that night on November 13th in the lineup tonight. So when we played them on the 13th of November, we had Fred VanVleet, Norman Powell, Malcolm Miller, Pascal Siakam, and Marc Gasol in the starting lineup. That was the time when we had Ibaka and Lowry out with injuries. This time around, we had Kyle Lowry, Patrick McCaw, OG Anunoby, Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, and Serge Ibaka starting for us. Because, as you know, Fred VanVleet went down with a hamstring injury, apparently, after the last game against the Nets. Norman Powell is still recovering from his shoulder injury. Marc Gasol is recovering from his hamstring injury. And Pascal Siakam is recovering from his groin injury. So that's a potential 4 starters for us that are not in right now. And that put a lot of pressure on Kyle Lowry. And he did, he made it happen. He had a good game tonight. But, we kind of had a little offensive drought there at the end. And that's what costed us the game. That and the turnovers. I don't get how the referees missed that call. That illegal screen by Whiteside. I don't get how they missed that. Like, it's literally right in front of you, bro. Like, how are you missing that call? Like, are you trying to make up for a call that you missed for them on the other side? I don't get it. I'm going to break down the stats. I'm not going to go through quarter by quarter this time because, I mean, the Raptors did well the whole night. So I'm just going to break down the final stats from the fourth quarter. Or the overall game, sorry. Okay, so for the first quarter, we only scored 24 points, but our defense was very stellar, and that's been the consistent point for this team, no matter who was in and out of the lineup. Whether it's injuries or full lineup, our defense has been our main thing, and we've been able to, for the most part, be very consistent defensively, and that's our bread and butter right now. So we were able to hold them to 15 points in that first quarter, while we scored 24. And then in the second quarter, we let them loose a little bit. They scored 31. We still outscored them by 1 because we had 32 points to their 31. And then the third quarter, they had 23 points. We had 22. And then to end the quarter off, they outscored us by 11, 32 to 21, which was ultimately our loss because we just let them get whatever they wanted. MELO was hot from 3 and from mid-range. Damian was pulling up from the logo. And Hassan Whiteside had a few moments there where he had some key rebounds, key layups or floaters, whatever you want to call it. As a team, though, we shot 36% for the night. Portland TrailBlazers, they shot 43%. They were 38 of 88 from the field. We were 35 of 96. From beyond the arc, we were 15 of 42 for 36%. They were 13 of 35 for 37%. Free throws, they were 12 of 14, 86%. And we were 74%, and we were 14 of 19 from the line. Rebounding, even though Whiteside was a main piece that we were worried about, just because, we didn't have our big man in the paint. We didn't have Marcus Gasol, a big body that can handle him. Serge Ibaka did a really good job, especially killing him on the other side. Like, he had Whiteside running in circles, and he was eating all night. Like, he was cooking Whiteside all night long. But for the rebounds, we out-rebounded them 57 to 45 as a team. Offensive rebounds, I think our bench had like 24 rebounds altogether. Our bench mob. Offensive rebounds, we were 17 to 7. And assists, we only had 21. See, that's what killed us because it felt like we should have had more assists because we had a lot of open shots that we missed. As you could tell by our field goal percentage, we weren't that great tonight. We were only 36%, but we had 21 assists to their 23. Steals, we only had 5 to their 6. Blocks, we had 7 to their 11, and Hassan Whiteside probably had 5 or 6 of those blocks alone. And turnovers, we had 13 and they had 10, but that 13 turnover was that crucial one that could have been a game changer for us, which could have turned into a bucket if Patrick McCaw just knew how to pass the ball. Personal fouls, 21 to 15. And technicals, Portland had 2, and that was Ken Bazemore who got those 2 technicals, and they got ejected because he thought he got fouled at the rim. And that didn't cost them, obviously, because they won the game. I do not get how they missed that call. If it was the other way around, they would have called that on the Raptors 110%, and that's what pisses me off. Because any other scenario, it would have been called. But when it comes to the Raptors, and when we're at home, how do we not get that call? It wasn't a clean screen at all. All right, since the Portland TrailBlazers won tonight, I'm going to start with their individual stats. Carmelo Anthony, in 36 minutes, vintage MELO came out to play tonight. 28 points, 7 rebounds, assists, 10 of 17 from the field, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 5 of 8 from the three-point line with 2 steals and a turnover. Ken Bazemore, 26 minutes, 7 points, 2 rebounds, no assists, 3 of 10 from the field, no free throw attempts, 1 of 5 from the three-point line, and 2 steals. Hassan Whiteside, 37 minutes, 14 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, 7 of 13 from the field, 0 of 1 from the free throw line, no 3-point attempts, 0 steals. Oh my God. He had 7 blocks with 2 turnovers. Okay. 7 blocks out of the 11 that Portland had was Whiteside. He's been on a tear on blocks, really, throughout the season. He's had a 10-block game already this season. I know that because he's a gem right now in fantasy. But that's crazy. He had 7 blocks tonight. Damian Lillard, we had him contained in that first half to only 2 points. And then the second half, he goes off for 18, especially in that fourth quarter. I think he had 10 points in that fourth quarter. Or MELO had 10 points, I know for sure. I think Damian might have 10 plus 2 as well. But in 37 minutes, Damian had 20 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists, 5 of 11 from the field, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 4 of 7 from 3, and I think all 4 threes were from like the logo. Because that's what it felt like I was seeing the whole time in that fourth quarter as he was just launching threes. And it wasn't hitting nothing but net. And he had 2 blocks, 4 turnovers. CJ McCollum wasn't his best night. 35 minutes, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 of 19 from the field, 0 of 1 from the free throw line, 0 of 6 from the 3-point line with 1 steal. Simons, 30 minutes, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 of 10 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, and 2 of 4 from the 3-point line with 2 turnovers. Everyone else was pretty irrelevant, to be honest. No one else really did anything for them, but their main guys came through. MELO, McCollum, Whiteside. Not McCollum. Carmelo, Whiteside, and Lillard came through. And then you had McCollum and Simons doing their thing once in a while. For the Raptors, in 30 minutes, OG Anunoby had 8 points, 6 rebounds, no assists, 3 of 9 from the field, no free throw attempts. 2 of 4 from the 3-point line with 1 block, 1 turnover. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, 25 minutes, 8.6 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 of 13 from the field, no free throw attempts, no 3-point attempts, and 1 steal. Ibaka, another double-double in 32 minutes, 17 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 7 of 12 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, and 2 of 3 from the 3-point line with 4 turnovers. No blocks, no steals. Lowry, 38 minutes, 24 points, 4 rebounds, 10 assists, 7 of 23 from the field, 6 of 7 from the free throw line, 4 of 16 from the 3-point line, and he had a block, 2 turnovers. Patrick McCaw, 36 minutes, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 of 8 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, no 3-point attempts, 3 steals, and O'Shea Brissett, 23 minutes, 12 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 5 of 9 from the field, 2 of 4 from the 3-point line, and 1 steal. Stanley Johnson, I'm going to shout him out because he had a pretty good valuable minute type of night. He had valuable minutes tonight. He had a nice turnover on Lillard. He had a 3-pointer where he started whiling I don't know why he was whiling like that. I guess it was because it was his first 3-pointer and he was happy to make it. O'Shea Brissett did the same thing as well. But Stanley Johnson, 17 minutes, he had 4 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 of 7 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 1 of 4 from the 3-point line with 1 block. And I believe that block was on Lillard, if I'm not mistaken. Chris Boucher had 10 points in that fourth quarter. Felt like he was going to help us pull this game out. But in 16 minutes, he had 12 points, 9 rebounds, no assists, 4 of 7 from the field, 2 of 4 from the free throw line, and 2 of 3 from the 3-point line with 3 blocks. Matt Thomas, welcome back. 15 minutes, 8 points, 6 rebounds, no assists, 2 of 6 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 of 6 from the 3-point line with 2 turnovers. And Terrence Davis, 8 minutes, was not effective tonight. He had no points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. He had some turnovers there when he came in that fourth quarter when the game was getting close. He had 1 turnover. But the thing is, though, as I mentioned earlier about the last possession on the offensive end, why didn't they bring in all the shooters? Like Terrence Davis, Matt Thomas, Kyle Lowry, Serge Ibaka, Chris Boucher. Why not bring them all out? I didn't understand that last play. Nick Nurse, I know he knows a lot more than me when it comes to coaching. But if it's a final possession and you're down 2, and you only have 3 seconds and they have a foul to give, why not have all your shooters out there so that, they might get desperate and foul you while you're shooting the 3? Am I wrong or am I right? You let me know in the comment section if what I'm saying makes sense or if I'm just talking out of my ass. But I honestly think that with 3.3 seconds left and them having an extra foul to give, they're going to try and foul you to kill more time off the clock to kind of get you scrambled up, right? So why not have all your shooters out there so everyone's just ready to come off the screen, grab the ball, and shoot it in that motion? I'm just saying. Whew. I don't know, man. It's been a while since the Raptors have lost a game like that where they were leading throughout from start to finish and never gave Portland really a chance to come back. They got it as close as 6 every time, but then when they finally broke it under 6 and got it to 4, all bets were off. Portland got their confidence back and they felt like they had a chance to rob this game, and they did. It was an absolute robbery. We split the season series with them, 1 apiece. We cooked them in Portland, and we cooked them tonight. We just weren't able to hold it off long enough to get the W. So tomorrow night, we go into Charlotte, I believe, and the game is at 7 o'clock, so I'll see you back here for that podcast, the post-game podcast. And then after that, we have 4 days till we play again, which would be Sunday night or Sunday evening against the San Antonio Spurs, and our hometown grown boy, DeMar DeRozan, comes back to Toronto for only the second time since being traded in the Kawhi Leonard trade, which eventually got us an NBA championship. I'm trying to lighten the mood because I'm seeing the highlights right now on my screen as I'm doing this podcast, and I'm seeing the final possessions, and I'm telling you right now, I'm like a few seconds away from turning the TV off, or I might just break it off the mount. That's going to do it for now. Hope y'all enjoyed this podcast. I know a lot of y'all are pissed. I don't blame you guys, because I was ready to come into this podcast excited, talking about a really flawless game with really low turnovers, all these injuries, and with all these injuries, we're still finding ways to win games. And tonight didn't seem like it was a very hard way to win a game. Like, we actually had it, and we had the game. But it feels like the team, the injuries are catching up, and we need to recover soon. We can't keep doing this because I think our schedule is getting harder in the second half of the season, especially after the All-Star game. So hopefully we get everyone back, because we kind of have an idea of what our potential can be if we have everyone back, and we know that there's no doubt in my mind and in any Raptor fan's mind that we're a top four team in the East when healthy, and we could beat anybody, whether it's Milwaukee, Philly, Miami, Boston, Indiana, doesn't matter. We have that type of potential as long as we have all the bodies in check, in the lineups, ready to go. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, you know the routine. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Check out my other videos that I posted in the past. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Support your boy. Show me some love. But till tomorrow night, I'll see you back here. Stay blessed, stay woke, and peace!